The expat with three shadows. In the expat circles of the Philippines, you hear a lot of wild rumors. Stories of foreigners trying to balance multiple relationships, juggling complex family dynamics, or suddenly packing up and vanishing without a trace. Usually, it's just local gossip over a cold beer. But sometimes, a scandalous rumor hides a reality that is far more terrifying. Because out here in the provinces, if you try to live a double life, you might just find out that the people sharing your home aren't entirely human. I'm an expat living out in the provinces, and you're watching The Walking Expat, Philippine Mysteries. Moving to a small provincial town means your life instantly becomes public knowledge. The locals notice when you buy groceries, when you fix your roof, and especially who enters your gate. This was especially true for a wealthy retired expat named Richard, who moved into a massive, high-walled compound at the edge of the barrio. Richard was the talk of the town because he shared his beautiful home with three stunningly beautiful local women, whom he proudly introduced to the neighbors as his wives. But the local elders whispered a darker warning. Richard wasn't a lucky romantic. He was a victim who had walked right into a beautiful trap. Richard had a massive Western pension and spent it lavishly. He built a modern, multi-story house surrounded by a thick concrete wall and a heavy iron gate to ensure his absolute privacy. He rarely came out into the village, except to buy expensive imported goods or extend his tourist visa at the immigration office in the city. The three women he lived with, Maria, Clara, and Elena, were incredibly beautiful, with long, pitch-black hair and porcelain skin. But the neighbors noticed something highly unsettling about them. They never spoke to the local vendors. They only left the compound at twilight, walking in perfect silent unison. And when the hot, midday tropical sun hit the pavement outside Richard's gate, a local tricycle driver noticed a terrifying detail. Richard would cast a long, normal shadow on the concrete, but the three women walking beside him didn't cast any shadows at all. As the months went by, the foreigners at the local expat hangout noticed that Richard was changing. He was losing an immense amount of weight. His eyes were hollow, sunken, and a dark, bruised purple. His hands shook violently whenever he tried to count his pesos at the market. One afternoon, a fellow expat pulled him aside. "Richard, you look terrible, man. Are you sick? You need to go to the hospital in the city." Richard just gave a weak, hollow laugh, staring blankly over the man's shoulder. "I'm just tired," Richard whispered, his voice incredibly thin. "They never sleep. They just sit at the foot of my bed all night, watching me breathe. I try to leave, but I can't find my passport. I can't find my keys." That was the last time anyone ever saw Richard alive. 2 weeks later, his monthly pension check arrived at the local remittance center, but Richard never showed up to claim it. He had completely vanished. Of the three beautiful wives, there was absolutely no trace. When the police ran their names through the local civil registry, they discovered that no such women existed. The village elders knew the truth. They told the police that Richard had been targeted by a trio of aswang, shape-shifting entities that prey on isolated wealthy foreigners. They had used their beauty to gain entrance to his compound, slowly draining his life force night after night until there was nothing left of him but an empty set of clothes. Today, the massive compound sits completely abandoned, overgrown with wild vines and weeds, a modern ruin in the middle of the province. Expat life offers incredible freedom, but it also requires a sharp mind and a healthy respect for the unknown. Richard wanted a paradise with three beautiful wives, but he forgot that in the deepest parts of the province, some beauties are just a mask worn by the shadows.